I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
It is time for happy hour. It is the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigar, spirits, the stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
Hey, I am Matt Fox.
We are in the palatial, classy, and
Always-
swanky studios.
Always warm, then cold, but then warm, and then
Podcast Your Voice.
cheers.
Man Cave Suite.
Yes.
It's just enjoying it with a little toast and a little cheers. The nice thing about so it's still kind of midwinter. So you know sometimes you like your bourbons or your whiskeys a little cool, right? Not so much put them in the freezer cool.
No, because that affects the taste.
Well, yeah, I mean it's something ice cold. It will reduce the flavor to it.
Right.
Well, you do like a little cold. This because fellow I didn't have to put ice in it
No,
because it was sitting in the garage, and so it's kind of just been
that fellow
chilly.
That fellow that
So-
you cracked open for this evening
I
is
did. I picked this up
it
from.
is it's a tasty treat. It really is.
It's a store we haven't. We've dealt with them a bit, but we just anyway. A&B Liquors, and we picked up a fine bottle of Redemption High Rye. And it's the Redemption folks. They're all pre-prohibition rye revival, and this is this was a store pick. And Evan there at A&B Liquors, turned me on. He's like, "Oh, you like this one?" He goes, "You like ryes? Oh, you're gonna like this one."
Oh, yeah.
And it's coming in at 105 proof.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, it's nice. So it's non-chill filtered. It's 60% corn, 36% rye, 4% barley, and new charred oak barrels.
Nice.
How that's coming down. Straight bourbon whiskey distilled in Indiana, Heartland, bottled in Bardstown. So there you go. So that is the Redemption High Rye Bourbon. And we needed a rye. We needed a rye today because, Matthew.
Well, here's the thing with the Man Cave Happy Hour, Jamie.
It's a podcast for everybody.
a podcast for everybody.
Where's that sign?
It's around here
It
somewhere.
says it someplace.
But I'll tell you what, when we started this, it was all about learning, right? And meeting people in the industry. We didn't anticipate
who know their stuff.
We did not anticipate the level of knowledge that's out there and the caliber of individuals that's out there as well. And we have run into some amazing individuals.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a certain individual that we ran into, and she's been in the Man Cave with us before. And guess what? She decided to come back. And
it must not have been so awful.
Yeah,
right?
I guess we were all right. So, but I want to welcome back Sara from A Flavor Journal is back with us in the Man Cave.
Sarah,
so Sara, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Sarah, because last time we talked and we said, you could make, because we had some leftover Luxardo syrup and we found a wonderful recipe on her site.
Yes,
so we brought her in to help us
Man
mix it
of
up.
War.
The Man of War. And so go back and check that episode out if you got some Luxardo cherries kicking around and you want to use the syrup for a cocktail. And we said, well, you got to come back and make us like a signature drink, because that's a big trend right now with weddings.
Yes.
And cocktail parties. Yeah. Is to have like your signature drink for the day or your signature drink for the party.
If the bride has one, then the groom may have one.
Right, and one for the dog. Not that the dog gets to drink it, but it's usually named after the dog.
Right, a Rusty.
So
spot.
So Sarah was kind enough to come up with a cocktail. I think it's Careless Whispers.
What?
No, it's Regrettable Moments.
Wait a minute. You're singing about tune.
No,
keep going.
Sarah, what was the name? What was the name of this cocktail?
This is kind of a riff on a witty comeback.
A witty comeback.
Don't call it a what?
Don't call it a comeback. All right. So a witty comeback. I knew that. I just was trying to
Well, you played well because you had me fooled.
Okay. Did you know it was a witty comeback?
I read it.
Yeah.
But my brain in one ear, not the other.
Right. So, so that's the plan for today. We're gonna get to that in a bit and all the fixins and the work we did and will do to create this party here in just a minute. But before we do that, we want to catch up with Sara and what's happening in the happenings with a flavor journal. Are you green screened back there, or is that really your background?
No, I painted this wall. This is the only thing I did to this house when we moved into it.
It looks
This
like
wall.
it looks like you're green screened, and it's fantastic. It's wonderful.
It
I
looks
love.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I realized my shirt kind of blends into it.
Yeah,
now.
for those that are listening to the podcast, because we're actually recording live on Facebook, so the video's out there on our Facebook page, but
Sure.
the paint behind you, it looks like you're sitting in front of a window, and that's actually the shadow behind you from the window. Is that the shadow from the sun?
It is. Yeah, the window's like maybe too big for the computer.
That's like that.
I'm shining right in, but there's this like linen kind of curtain hanging over it.
So okay, fancy studio effect.
Yeah.
It's just the sun doing its thing.
Yes, it is.
It's fantastic. But what's happening with Flavor Journal? What's new and groovy with you and your world in the journal?
Really just kind of the same old. I know that's not very exciting, but trying to put a lot more cocktail recipes out there, to be honest with you. I think that it's kind of fun to find some of these more like modern cocktails that haven't been shared, or even like just putting some twist on some favorite old classic cocktails too. So
I'd never heard of a witty comeback, and the products that I picked up to do this with, I was not familiar with, but going back to our friends, A&B Liquor had the bottle of the rye that we're using, but I had to pop into the wine garden.
Oh, did Tony hook you up?
And see our man Tony.
Yeah.
Big Tony Batu. And check out because I had to pick up the other. Yeah, I had to pick up the other products that we were going to use for this evening.
I had never heard of the Luxardo maraschino.
It's a liqueur, the Luxardo liqueur, because when we were trying, that was the problem, and that's how we stumbled across Sara, was that there were so many recipes for the Luxardo, but it all involved the liqueur, right? Because Luxardo makes a maraschino liqueur, but it's clear, and I was looking to use the syrup out of the maraschino glass, out of the cherry jar,
right?
And our girl Sara hooked us up with that, but I was kind of enamored by the Luxardo bottle itself because it's got that like is that a Chianti? The wine that has the wrap.
The wine on the
so wine bottles, whatever.
Cork.
Anyway, so there's the
cork wrap.
bulbous wine bottles that have the wrap like that. So
are they called fiascos? Like the Italian wine that kind of come in the little like.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's it. That's the one.
I wasn't going to be able to sleep tonight and tell you that. Thank you.
I was going to say, yeah. So I was a little bit enamored with that. I was Tony hooked us up with those. So some fun products to play with there, and we'll mix that all into a thing,
into a witty comeback,
into a witty comeback. So Sara, on the Flavor Journal, we're a couple days away from St. Patrick's Day, and do you do like do you have a St. Patrick's corned beef and cabbage? Do you follow the holidays, or you just do stuff? No, you didn't do anything like here's a Christmas dish, here's an Easter dish, here's a St. Patrick. You just do. You're classier than that. You're not.
I mean, I should follow that rule, but I just
don't.
I'm like, oh, this sounds good. I'm gonna make this instead. So
all right,
yeah. With Jamie and I, if there's a holiday around bourbon or whiskey or spirits, we'll celebrate.
As you should.
But with the St. Patrick's,
right?
It's like I'm Irish all year long, and it's like, my biggest pet peeve is when I go into an Irish pub and they're not playing Irish music. It just makes me crazy. And then it's like
no water boys. What the heck?
Oh yeah, I'm telling you. And then here's the thing: what is the quintessential people believe St. Patrick's Day Irish song? But it's
Irish drinking song. Oh,
you're too good. It's your tourists.
Yeah,
they're like the unicorn from the Irish Rovers.
Right.
It's not a St. Patrick's. Let's get this straight, people. Sara, I need to. You may want to blog about this.
Taking notes. Hold on.
The unicorn from the Irish Rovers. It's not a St. Patrick's Day song.
No, it's not.
It is not. It is more. If it is any holiday, it's a Hanukkah song. It's an Old Testament story.
Yep.
Written by a Jewish dude. Shel Silverstein, right?
Yep.
Are you familiar with Shel?
I am.
Shel Silverstein wrote The Unicorn.
Yes.
And it's an Old Testament story, how on God's good earth, New Testament or Old, is that a St. Patrick's song.
And loveliest of all was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
unicorn.
That's and it's like that's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's like we went to Ireland, took a little family trip, and you know what's good to do is take 12 people on a tour of Ireland. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, that's great.
Sounds fun.
Not even close.
Magical.
Going places for dinner. Yeah, we need seating for 12. It was such a nightmare. It's like, so, but it was great to be with the family. It was great to be with my mom and dad, that's for sure. But anyway, so we're in Ireland, and my brother-in-law at the time, he's like, thought he'd be funny, and we're in this pub, and there's a guy playing the acoustic. This is a little old Irish guy just playing acoustic songs for people in the pub, afternoon, and he makes him play the Bloody Unicorn because he knew it would get under my skin. He knew it would make me crazy. And it didn't, I'm like, you just proved what a knocker of a tourist you are. You're mildly annoying to me, but so anyway, that tirade about
see, you told us that story to tell us this story.
Yeah, no, I told you that story because I'm drinking.
Oh, fair enough.
I like it.
And speaking of drinking, Sarah, we're gonna do the Careless Whispers.
Are we gonna do the Careless Whispers?
No,
we can rename it. I mean, this is it's its own thing, so it can be whatever.
Witty comeback. Yeah. There's a W in it.
It's a witty comeback. Is it witty? Is it witty?
The witty comeback.
She
said that would be appropriate for the man cave. She believed, and I was like, I believe you're right. Yeah. Although Wayne chimed in and said it should be called "Tell Me About Your Childhood." Wayne, you are absolutely correct.
Someone's been listening.
It probably should be called "Tell Me About Your Childhood." Yeah. So, all right. So, Sarah, the witty comeback. What can you tell us about? What do you know about the ingredients? Because you picked these ingredients to do, especially. So, tell me about these ingredients.
So, the witty comeback is more of a modern cocktail, but this is like a special riff on it. So, it's almost two cocktails combined. So, the original one was created by, I believe, like the editor of the New York Times, and it was rye, the Amaro, lemon juice, and ginger simple syrup. But we lived in North Carolina for about a year and a half or so, and there was this really, really awesome whiskey bar there. And I had never heard of the witty comeback before, but it was a cocktail on their menu. And it's one of those that has like 4 descriptors underneath it. Like it says the name, and then it's rye, Amaro, and then it said Luxardo, and then orange bitters. So I was like, oh, and I tried it, and it was one of those that stuck with me kind of ever since because I really liked it so much, and tried to recreate it. But with those 4 ingredients, I was like, well, this doesn't make a ton of sense. So then I tried to just keep playing with that version and then the original version, and then eventually just kind of ended up combining the 2 of them. Okay. So that's why this is like a riff on it, but it's just got from 2 completely different like sources.
So it's the Man Cave witty comeback.
Yeah.
And so the Amaro, tell me about Amaro, because I was unfamiliar with this liqueur.
So Amaros are really just like an Italian bitter liqueur. It's more of a digestif. And Amaros, I think, are super fascinating because there's so many of them, and they're all different because they come from different families. They're very like old recipes. And it's kind of almost like a hipstery kind of thing now where people are doing some like interesting stuff. There's one that I tasted recently that has like eucalyptus notes in it.
Okay.
So they're all over the place. But the more like Averna is more of like a traditional kind of like Italian,
And that's kind of what Tony at the Wine Garden was telling me, that I said, well, because they're different price ranges on the bottles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a cheap son of a bitch. So and Tony's like, oh, here, it's right over here. I'm like, oh, great. You got it in a smaller size? He's like, no. I'm like, all right. I go, well, she said, any dark, sweet
I know.
Amaro will do. And I'm like, no, I'll do it. I just do it. He goes, you know what? He said, he goes, you love it. He goes, there's so much liquor in this. He goes, it'll keep. He goes, don't worry about it going bad. He goes, there's enough liquor in it. It'll keep. And Tony said, he goes, it makes a really nice Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
So have you done a Manhattan with the Avero?
Not with
Averna?
not with that Averna specifically, but there's another one that I use all the time that I make. I love Manhattans with that. I think
Okay,
it's
yeah, because
delicious.
I got in trouble for our vermouth game.
Yes, you did.
So a Manhattan is probably like it's two shots of bourbon, one shot of vermouth, and then bitters.
Bitters, right?
That's how I do it. Is that how you do a Manhattan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
like it.
and so Tony said this would make a good one. So I figured, all right, cool, because I like a nice Manhattan. So I'm gonna have to give that a whirl with this. But I had used we were using just some just cheap. You know, I was at Kroger. I needed
It's what's
vermouth.
It's what's on
It
every
was-
grocery store.
It was
shelf,
there,
you
and
know?
I bought it. And Tony and we were doing a show, and he was like watching. He was like, "Why are you drinking that swill?" And so we've upped our.
It's not now. Dolan is on the
Dolan and
yeah.
the cookie. Is it cookie? I believe it's called. I believe it's called pronounced.
Oh,
cookie.
COCCHI.
Yeah, I believe it's pronounced cookie.
Sushi cookie.
I think it's pronounced cookie.
Okay,
It's delicious.
It's
I
not
like
coochie. It
it.
looks
Might
like
be.
it looks like coochie, but it tastes like cookies.
I almost spit out my drink.
That could get wildly inappropriate from here on out, and so we're just going to back away
Yeah.
from the rest of that. So
Speaking of
I'm
witty
looking.
speaking of witty comebacks, okay, here we go.
So I'm
Right?
looking forward to this Amaro and this Averna Amaro. So we're going to try that. And I'm looking forward to making a Manhattan with it later as well, and see if I like that for that. And then we have the Luxardo, which we didn't need for our fantastic Luxardo Man of War, but we could use for this cocktail.
You got it.
The maraschino. And I figured there are other maraschinos available, but I figured I'm so enamored with the Luxardo cherries themselves. I'm going to imagine that I'm going to be happy with the with the liqueur here, and orange bitters. I ran out of orange bitters. I did.
No.
I had to stop at let's just name drop everybody today.
Okay.
I stopped at Keiko's.
You know what? It's okay.
And you know who I haven't mentioned yet? Joe Louis Bourbon.
Joe Louis Bourbon.
But Joe Louis Bourbon isn't around. Joe Louis Bourbon has been sponsoring us lately.
That's going to say Ambassador Cigars and Spirits.
Oh yeah. So we need to go. But I had to go pick up some fresh orange bitters because I was out. I grabbed my bottle. I was like, this is empty.
Hey, it was a twofer.
Good
Right?
thing.
I need I had to stop at Keiko's and get the orange bitters. So I love the little story about the label and why it's so big. It's because there were two brothers that had taken over the business from their father.
Right.
And then one was in charge of the bottles and the other was in charge of the labels.
And
they didn't talk as well as they should have. And they were getting ready to go, and they had to get it on market for a competition. And they're like, crap. All right, just go with it. And it became their thing, is the oversized label.
The thing is that they did not win that competition.
No, they did not.
But the judge said that was actually keep the wrapper because that actually stands out.
Makes you stand out.
Makes you stand out.
And other bitters do that with the oversized labels and bulky labels, just because people expect it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's funny. Oops. All right, and then the last ingredient that we had, the second to last. So we have Matt is squeezing out some fresh lemons right now because we need an ounce. Because we're to double up the recipe. So the recipe calls for a half ounce. So he's squeezing out an ounce.
Squeezing something.
But I had to create some simple syrup. And so it was I went and I went to the grocery store and I got myself. I'm a wizard. Use the side of the knife. So I don't know. All of a sudden, I'm channeling Harry Potter. But I had to make some simple syrup, and it was the ginger simple syrup, right? And so I got the sugar, the water.
You know who would be
boiled it down a little bit, and then I shaved and chopped up just like a little bit of ginger.
I'm proud of you, man.
Steeped it for an hour. I know Tara would be proud.
I know Tara would be like, "You did what?"
Our bartender, because I complained about that. So I made the ginger syrup. So I'm pretty proud of myself on that. I don't know what it's gonna taste like. It might be heavy gingery, but it's I like ginger.
So do I.
I like it's one of my favorite things at the hibachi Chinese
yeah.
restaurants.
It clears
The
your
little
palate.
the little salad with the ginger dressing is one of my
It clears
favorites.
your palate every time in between bites. Yeah.
So there we go. Those are the ingredients. And then a rye. It was a rye whiskey, and like I said, we picked up the Redemption High Rye bourbon from A&B Liquors. So name dropping all over the place. Maybe somebody else. Well, they all take really great. I was gonna say
you know what we haven't said in a while?
Really great care of us.
You know what we haven't said in a while?
What haven't you
It's
said?
Sarah from the Flavor Journal.
Oh
is
my
with
God.
us as well.
Whatever.
We've been
Yes, I like
talking.
it.
Sarah just been sitting
So
there.
are you going to be making the drink with us as well?
I pre-made one.
All righty. What is it? So it looks just the color that you have there looks very pinkish, if you will.
Yeah. It is like very like caramely kind of.
Okay. All right.
But
There it is.
it
Yeah,
does
it is more caramel. Very
I feel
nice.
like the color is weird with this computer, but
So
that's very caramely.
you're drinking it neat. There's no ice in there.
There's no ice in it. But I shook it and diluted it a little bit before I.
Fair enough.
All right. So, but and again, something that we learned as we, I don't know if that's clear.
Oh, you got a second one there. We are Mr. Prepared over here.
I think this one's
No,
good.
you're good.
So, all right. So this time we're going to Matt's going to mix this. I mixed the last one.
Yes, you did.
We're going to make Matthew mix.
All right. I'll bartend
This one. So here's a bag of ice. Turn your thing. So just for the people watching, we can do that. So there's a bag of ice for you. So Sarah, we're going to put some ice in a shaker, right?
Yep.
All right. Some ice in the shaker. That's our first step. And then from there, tell our man, Matt, because I don't have my email open with the recipe in it. I had all the crap on the counter. I don't have my recipe open. I didn't know if we get enough juice out of the lemon. I got 1 full cap. You did. That's exactly what we need. So we'll use that as our one.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I think those are actually closer to 1.5, 2 ounces.
All right. I'm going to put the lemon in first.
But since we're sharing.
Yep. Here we go. So I'm going to put the lemon juice in first. All right.
So what do we need to do? What do we need in there, sir?
So it'll be 4 ounces total of rye.
4.
2 of those.
No.
4?
4 of those.
All right. 4.
Because it was a hat. Those were halves.
Gotcha.
So we had 1 full one. So this. Oh, and this is boozy too, because this is at 100 and 105 proof.
105, right?
Yeah. So it's gonna be a hot tamale. So yeah, if you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube, you can watch Matt spill this live.
There's
for us.
4 right there.
All right, excellent.
Little redemption.
What do we need next?
And then for the Luxardo, you'll do a 1/2 ounce.
All right.
Half ounce, so just 1 cap. Because we're using this cap.
I like that.
Because it's usually this cap is about a 1/2 ounce.
All right, there you
roughly.
go.
Perfect.
So is a 1/4 ounce, so it's just a half then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair play. She's already
doing the math for us.
I love this recipe. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. That's a full.
What?
You're supposed to go a half.
Oh, half. Okay.
Pour half of that into there.
There we go.
Little. All right. There you go.
Now we're good. All right. That's a Luxardo.
Maybe it needs another drop. There you go. I'm backseat driving on it. All right.
You should see the two of us at when we're DJing a gig together.
Oh yeah.
So the
but it's fun.
So the Amaro.
Full ounce of the Amaro.
So
all right.
1 full cap.
One full cap on that this time around. Yep. So now that I got this Luxardo liqueur, you're gonna have to tell us other recipes to do with it. But
I'm gonna find more. I almost used the syrup again, but I was like, is that too on the nose?
Right. Yeah.
So how much of the ginger syrup are we using?
1/2 ounce of that one.
1/2 ounce, so 1 full cup.
No, half of it.
That's half. My math is
so
terrible.
These are all ones. So we need a half. So that's a little bit more.
Yes, sir.
A little bit more.
A little more for Santa Claus.
Another. That's that.
A little more for Santa Claus.
I'm backseat driving. I thought this was a bell. I was gonna ring it.
Ding. And then bitters.
About 4 dashes.
4 dashes. All right. Do you want heavier bitters? Or you want regular bitters?
Just do as the chef commands.
Got it. That's about
maybe
4.
another one.
All right.
1 more.
Hey.
A little bit more.
All right. So shake her up, yeah.
Yep, shake her up.
Then I got.
So it's a shake, not a stir. Is that correct?
And that's I was saying we learned that if it's got juice in it, then you shake it.
Yes.
If it's only liquors, you can stir it.
Ooh, that's chilly.
Yeah, it. I love that. The thing gets all cold.
All right. So here we go.
There we go. There's a.
Ooh, that's a very nice caramel look to it.
Yeah. All right.
I'll set that down. There we go. You can see what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to make sure it's even.
Even Steven.
Wow.
These are healthy drinks.
Yes, they are.
Because with that cap, it's a big pour. It's a big pour with those caps.
Wow.
All right. Yay. A little bit more for you. Excellent. All right.
A little bit more. There it's out.
All right. So that is the guilty pleasure.
That's the witty comeback.
How
many names?
I think I've called it 40 different things. I keep calling it something different.
Oh, wow.
All right. So, Sarah, this combination. So, what's it supposed to do to us at this point? Is it supposed to be sweet? Is it what is the witty comeback when you?
It's not terribly sweet. It should be pretty balanced. Okay. You get a little bit of that Amaro, a little like with that bitterness, and then with the bitters, of course, too. But then the lemon juice cuts a little bit with that citrusy kind of note, and then of course the sweetness. So I tried it without ginger syrup, but I didn't think it was like I didn't think the Luxardo itself had enough sweetness to kind of balance everything else.
Oh, the lemon and the ginger. The lemon and the ginger are playing very, very nicely together.
Wow. Okay. That's actually that lemon is it's hitting me right off the bat, but then that ginger is relaxing my palate at the same time.
Right.
That's super nice.
So you said this is a modern cocktail. Why does it get that?
I've just created, I think, within the last like 20 years, so I consider it more modern.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the technical term for it, but it just makes sense in my brain.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, so that's actually very refreshing, and a lot of folks think that the sweeter, the more refreshing it's going to be. This is, I said it's balanced, and it's actually super refreshing for me.
It is.
It is. Yeah, it's nice.
I think with that ginger, it kind of like cleanses a little bit, and it's just kind of like a nice. It doesn't weigh heavily.
I think that's the first time I've ever said it relaxes my palate, because it really does. That ginger does. It kind of sits back there. It just hangs out, and it's not that warmth that you get from a bourbon or a rye. It's actually, and for 105 proof that we're doing, you can't even feel it.
Yeah. No, not at all. And it's
nice.
It's
plays with that spice a little bit in the rye too.
And the Amaro is loaded for bear too. That's coming in at 58 proof.
Right.
Yeah,
As is the Luxardo chair, the Luxardo Maraschino is coming in at 64 proof.
Yep.
So 32% ABV.
This is a boozy one.
Yeah, that's we're boozy kind of guys. I think it fits. I think it fits.
I can see this.
The witty comeback
I'd see this as a signature cocktail.
I think we've got to.
Cheers.
I got to keep making the ginger syrup.
Yeah.
So now I made a small batch, right? You recommended a small batch. It was only a quarter cup. I did a quarter cup of sugar, quarter cup of water. And then it felt like there wasn't enough water in it, so I actually put like another splash, and I was like, "That's just not enough."
A little more percent.
I do all that, and then the ginger, I took I think you said a teaspoon of ginger, shaved ginger, and I just had a ginger root, probably the size of my thumb, and so it was probably a little more than a teaspoon. As I chopped it up and I threw it in there, let it steep. But how long would this keep? That I made this myself in my kitchen and reused my old simple syrup that I bought at the grocery store bottle. How long would this keep in my fridge?
I would say a couple of weeks would be safe, but I do when I make simple syrups, just because I don't use them like very quickly. I always add like a teaspoon of vodka or like a half an ounce of vodka or something, depending on how much you make. But that way it kind of, especially when they're infused like that, it kind of stabilizes it a bit and doesn't let it go bad as quickly.
So a week or two. So making a small batch would be wise then.
Yeah, I think it's better. And then it just tastes fresher to me too. Like if you just make them, it's easy enough, I think, to make that just having it kind of
it really
as fresh
is
as possible.
so I get home where I was here last night. I was at the podcast studio, new podcast launch. 26 boys.
Nice.
We got an esports podcast that just launched. Nice lads.
Yes.
And so I was here till like about 9 o'clock, 9:30. I get home and I'm in the kitchen. I'm like clank, 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 pulling out a pot. Kylie comes shuffling into the kitchen. She's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
I think she used something. Did she use "What the hell are you doing"?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I go, "We got that show tomorrow, Sara, Flavor Journal. We're gonna do a man cave cocktail." I go and I have to, make a ginger infused simple syrup. She goes, "If you burn one of my pots, I swear to God."
That sounds about right.
I'm like, "I won't. I will be fine." She goes, "I know you'll be fine." She goes, "Unless you burn one of my pots, then you won't be fine."
And it's all over for you.
And it would have been all over.
So, Sara, do you do a lot of R&D yourself? Making up syrups and what have you? You do a lot of cooking down of certain things. What's been one of your most favorite things that you've favorite syrups that you've done?
So I have one in my refrigerator right now. It's a combination of cilantro and jalapeno that I love to put in margaritas.
Jalapeno.
That's probably currently that's one of my favorite ones for sure. But
and what do you combine that with? With the scotch or no?
Tequila.
Tequila.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. It's really good as like instead of for a sweetening agent essentially in margaritas.
Huh.
I like it quite a bit. But
all right. Does it got a spicy note to it with the jalapeno?
A little bit. Like I feel like you get more of the like pepper flavor in it more than like the spice, but my goal is to make it spicier because I really like meat in cocktails.
Do you remove the seeds or do you leave the seeds in there as
I
you're cooking
leave
it
them
down? As you're cooking it down, you leave them in?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and then you strain it. I was having a hard time straining things last night, straining the ginger out.
Yeah.
I think I did a pretty good job. I don't think it's cloudy, which is supposed to be.
That looks good.
I was looking at the ones on the on the line there. But I don't have any. We have any floaties, so no floaties.
Perfect.
The ginger cloudiness is okay. So let's go back to this Luxardo maraschino original liqueur. What's another cocktail offhand that that you would do with this? Is there something in the vodka family you would do this guy?
In the what family?
A vodka family or whiskey family?
Yes. It's a green cocktail, and I'm trying to think of it because we did it for a holiday cocktail.
Absinthe?
No, it's with chartreuse and lime juice, and it's gin based. I'm sorry, it's not vodka. Those are the 4 things in it, though. I just can't think of the name of it at the moment.
Okay,
all right, gin based. Okay,
so
we'll talk about gin in a second.
Luxardo. What else?
Gin, Luxardo, lime juice, and chartreuse.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. One more
last
damn
word,
thing.
The last word.
I don't think I have chartreuse on the shelf at home.
So we have friends that have a gin out there, and it's the Highclere Castle gin.
Ooh.
I'm not sure if you ever heard of that or not.
I have not heard of that one.
You ever seen Downton Abbey, the TV
Yes.
show or the movies? So Highclere Castle is where they do all the filming for the TV show and for those movies. And Lord and Lady Carnarvon actually live in Highclere Castle. And they were approached by a gentleman out of New Hampshire, I want to say, Adam von Gutgen. And he approached Lord and Lady and said, "Hey, I am, he was a spirits guy already, and he wanted to do a gin." So he approached them and said, "Hey, I want to do this gin with you guys and use the botanicals from your estate, from the Highclere Castle estate itself."
Oh.
This gin is one of the only gins that I've been able to drink neat,
gorgeous,
all by itself.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
Gorgeous.
It's a tremendous tasting gin. So
it's
such good stuff. So we recommend the Highclere Castle.
Yeah.
highly.
Yes.
That sounds
all right.
amazing.
Sara, what are you doing coming up on April the 12th?
I don't think I have plans specifically for April 12th yet.
All right. So we're going to have you lace up the gloves. And we have a sponsor to the show that we promised them a curated
Yes.
cocktail, and we need to do a cocktail with Joe Louis Bourbon.
Yes.
Our
Cool.
friends at Joe Louis Bourbon.
Mhm.
We're gonna do a cocktail. So think about the brown bomber.
Mhm.
We're gonna task you with this. It's a very corn forward,
Yep.
2-year-old bourbon from Virginia.
It was on before. If you look at the
Kentucky.
map, it's Kentucky, but then they rewrote the map and it became Virginia.
Mhm.
So it's
Okay.
originally from Kentucky, but it's in Virginia.
It's Pigeon Forge, Valley Forge,
One of those forges.
It's one of those forges.
Chicken Wing. Chicken Wing. I think it's Chicken Wing, Virginia. I
That's
might be
part-
wrong. We're gonna double check on
That's
that.
part of West Virginia,
You
actually.
let me know.
So, but can we enlist you to create a cocktail that would go well with a Joe Louis bourbon? Something. They have a podcast called The Making of Champions, and the podcast is all about boxing today, and people on their way up, people that have done amazing things in boxing of late, and just the boxing world today, and how Joe Louis' spirit lives on through the people that are still embodying his drive and his positive energy. And so it's The Making of Champions, the podcast. And so we would like to honor them and The Making of Champions and Joe Louis with a signature Joe Louis bourbon
cocktail.
Yeah. Are you ready for the challenge? That's your challenge if you choose to accept it.
This message will self-destruct.
I say that to because I teach high school during the week. And so I always say it to my kids, my challenge if you choose to accept it.
What if I don't accept it, Mr. Flanagan?
I go, well,
Are you
yeah,
gonna
no.
fail
I go,
me?
sad news. It's an assignment. You got to do it anyway. I go, but it just sounded cooler the way I said it. And they're like, yeah, it did. It was more fun that way.
See, I wish I had a teacher like you in high school, Jamie.
Yeah,
I really do.
So,
Right?
so I tell them I live my life through movie quotes and song lyrics. I'm always just,
That's why.
and it's usually things from like Elf, and it's like, you smell like beef and cheese.
But that's
and they're
why
just
you
looking
are
at me like,
friends.
you are a freak, man.
First time I met you,
No.
you and I hit it off with some movie quotes. So.
Yeah. Yes, we did. So, Sarah, can we enlist you? Like high pressure in the middle of the podcast.
No
we
pressure.
don't wait till we're off.
No, don't worry about it.
But here's the thing, Sarah. We ask you to do this because we do want you to help us expand our palate, because what you put on your blog and the recipes that you have, they are amazing, and we want to expand our palate as you have done. So
For me, it would have been a rum and Coke. It's really hard to do with a bourbon.
What's wrong with Maker? What's wrong with Makers and Coke?
Makers and Coke. A little 7 and 7.
Mm.
Oh
Seagram's?
man, we're back there. We're back at the VFW hall in
Well, I'm back in weddings in
1990.
Yeah, the 90s doing
it's
weddings.
like via 7 and 7 at the VFW.
That was it, though.
Or
That was
maybe we can ramp it up a little bit from there and be a little classier than that.
we can try.
All right, so Sarah, we appreciate it. We love.
This is an amazing cocktail.
I'm so glad you guys like it.
I'm babying it because I'm savoring every sip.
Best compliment ever.
Damsel in distress here is like one of the best.
There's another name,
things.
damsel in distress. All right.
We can. It's yours, so we can name it whatever you guys want. Totally up to you.
You know what? We'll have to put a poll out
It's
there.
the man cave witty comeback.
Yeah.
I know what it
We have
is.
to put a poll out there. With the witty comeback takes it.
I like it. I'm 12, Sarah. I can't help it. All right, so we'll do this again coming up very, very soon. We'll do it with some bourbon, honoring the brown bomber, Joe Louis.
Correct.
And so hold fast, and we're going to wrap this up. Hey, we never told people.
What's that?
Like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that typical podcast stuff that people say in the podcast to entice people to listen and comment. Here's the thing that people should do, though.
All right,
go to aflavorjournal.com.
Yes.
And then follow that. There's a newsletter to sign up for, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep.
And there's a Facebook page. And again, the recipes are classy. They're easy. If two buffoons like us can do it,
I made cocktails.
You could do it.
tonight.
I seeped ginger last night.
I didn't do that.
I have all 10
Pretty
fingers still. It's a good day when I'm playing with knives and I come out of the kitchen with all 10 fingers. It's a good day.
You're a grill master.
I did. I sinned, but I did singe my arm. But and it's because I was trying to take a picture of the chicken with the bottle of barbecue sauce. One of my high school buddies, he works for like a phone company, but he's getting ready to retire, and he and his wife they smoke like beef jerky.
Yep.
And they have a barbecue sauce, and this is kind of be like his retirement venture. They're doing this thing, Hawk's barbecue sauces and Hawk's Smokehouse.
It was
Mike
really
Hockney. And you can't find it anywhere because I got to help him because he doesn't have a website. He's got nothing. He doesn't have any social media, but he's schlepping this stuff out of his trunk. But it's amazing. So I'm trying to take a picture of it, and so I'm holding it over the grill, and I'm like trying to figure, and I'm like, oh, this chicken's smelling weird. And I'm like, oh wait, that's my arm hair burning now.
Speaking of chicken wings,
So I was able to burn my arm today a little bit. Thank you. You're welcome, Mike Hockney.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, but so yeah, I came out of the kitchen after that. I felt proud that I didn't lose any fingers.
And Colleen wasn't mad at you because
I did not burn the pot.
See?
I actually washed the pot when I was done. I was being a good boy.
Wow.
I know.
He can be taught.
I am the Marion kind. That is hire him. He's good in the kitchen and cleans up after himself.
Is that all it takes?
I don't clean up after myself. Very rare. So, all right. That's another argument for another day. Okay.
So
But
funny.
so Sarah, yes. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, Sarah. Just if you haven't done so yet, come to our So Flavor Journal.
Go to aflavorjournal.com.
There's a newsletter and a Facebook page as we have it too. Man Cave Happy Hour across all the socials, and then tell a couple friends about the Flavor Journal, and till next time. Cheers,
Sarah. Don't go anywhere.
Cheers.